You're watching QTV with the news. My name is Diana Sumbwe. We take a look at stories making headlines. 2 Tanzanian fuel tankers believed to be carrying 35,000 liters of fuel have been burnt to ashes in Mpika district. Residents of Vona and Ndeke area in Ichongo district have continued to reject Define block making factory from proceeding with its operations. And President Edgar Lungu has commissioned the Michael Chilufya Sata toll plaza in Ndola at a huge cost of 4.3 million United States dollars. And now the news in detail. 2 Tanzanian fuel tankers believed to be carrying 35,000 liters of fuel have been burnt to ashes at Tafiki in Chitulika along Great North Road in Mpika district of Mchinga province. The news reports that the occupants of the 2 international fuel tankers have however escaped unhurt and are currently on the run. Both Mchinga province permanent secretary Jobix Kalumba and provincial police commissioner Chola Katanga have confirmed the incident to Zanis in Mpika. Jonathan Mukuka from Zanis has more in this report.
Illegal sale of fuel to vendors has resulted in 2 international fuel tankers from the port of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania to catch fire. The 2 fuel tankers, each believed to be carrying 35,000 liters of petrol, caught fire in Chitulika village of Mpika district after one of the drivers was allegedly selling fuel to some vendors who were near a prime stove that was on, and in the process the fuel splashed on the ground and caught fire. Firefighters from Mpika Fire Brigade and Tanzania Zambia Mafuta Tazama battled for several hours to put off the fire. The occupants of the 2 fuel tankers, now reduced to skeleton flame, escaped unhurt and are on the run. Mchinga Province Permanent Secretary has since directed the police and the local authority in the area to ensure that no truck or fuel tanker in transit is allowed to park in town.
No one should be parking here again, because we are going to experience more disaster than what we have seen today.
Dr. Kalumba, in the company of the district commissioner, town council secretary and the officer in charge from the Zambia police, also visited the designated parking area about 6 kilometers along the Great North Road from Mpika.
And we tell our people they can come here, mount to my small kitchens to prepare food for the what? For the truck drivers. Meanwhile, we have also the toilets. It's okay.
Jonathan Muka reporting, Zanis News, Mpika District, Mchinga Province.
President Edgar Lungu has commissioned the Michael Chilufya Sata toll plaza in Ndola at a huge cost of 4.3 million United States dollars. President Lungu says the construction of the Michael Sata toll plaza is evidence enough that his administration is fulfilling the promises made in the lead up to the August 2016 elections. Speaking when commissioning the Michael Sata toll plaza, President Lungu says the successful completion of the Michael Sata toll plaza is a significant step in the implementation of the National Road Tolling Program aimed at sustainability in road infrastructure development in our country. President Lungu says the accelerated National Road Construction Program the Patriotic Front government has adopted over the years through the Road Development Agency RDA continues to bear positive results towards a goal of transforming our country from a landlocked to a land-linked country. He has stated that the transformation agenda has resulted in the creation of jobs, especially among the youth, growth of construction industry, reduction of road user costs and transit times across Zambia, and creation of economic growth poles and wealth in outlying areas of the country. The head of state says the construction of the toll plaza in Ndola is part of government's plan to construct toll plazas across Zambia's road network in order to broaden revenue collection for development and road maintenance. And President Lungu has emphasized that the road tolling is not being done to overburden road users, but to create a pool of funds meant to maintain the highest standards possible for the safety and comfort of all road users.
If we run short of our own money, we shall borrow responsibly to invest into such infrastructure, aimed at improving the socio-economic profile of our people. I must play this very clear because no country does not borrow. Which country has not borrowed from Malawi? One single country should be named. Tell me which has not borrowed. We are all borrowing from one another. Even you, all of you have borrowed. But the idea is to pay back. banks, financial houses, building societies, they can't go and borrow. But when you borrow, you don't borrow to eat, you borrow to invest. Because if you borrow to eat, you won't be able to pay back. So what we are saying, we use our own money to develop this country. When we have a shortage, we will borrow. And when we borrow, we use the money responsibly to improve the well-being of our people. I'm not ashamed to say that. It is interesting, ladies and gentlemen, to hear voices of dissent against foreign loans. But our critics say nothing about the use of loans which are investing into new roads, airports, dams, schools, hospitals, and many other critical projects. They keep saying, you have borrowed too much. Yes, you have borrowed too much. And if you borrow to invest in the economy, it's not bad. We have a saying that So if you borrow to eat, you're killing yourself. But if you borrow to invest, you're doing the right thing.
And Copperbelt Minister Jaffin Mwakalombe says the commissioning of the toll plaza is a milestone achievement as it will help generate revenue which will go towards infrastructure development across the country.
Your Excellency, we are very grateful to your government through the Road Development Agency for the massive infrastructure development taking place in the province. The Road Development Agency has lined up quite a number of projects in the province, such as the construction and upgrading of approximately 45.5 kilometer dual carriageway between Kitwe and Chingola in the Copperbelt province by Sino Hydro Zambia Limited, where the contractor so far has completed 45.5 kilometers of the new south link, and it has since been opened to the traffic. The contractor is currently, Your Excellency, working on the old northbound carriageway, which is near completion. In the rehabilitation of section of about 5.9 kilometers in Chingola town, the rehabilitation, Your Excellency, I wish to report in the Chingola town of roads from Kitwe to Chingola roundabout to the junction of Solwezi, Chingola Road under the existing rehabilitation of Chingola Solwezi contract lot 1 for China Geo Corporation South Africa Limited is complete.
And speaking at the same event, Housing and Infrastructure Development Minister Ronald Chitotela has assured President Lungu that his ministry will make sure that all the provinces benefit from the developmental projects his ministry has embarked on.
Been instructed, sir, by the doomsayers. I want to emphasize Imwa Tabala safely. Kabiri n'ekyongo ky'ababombwe tekine kirozo okukunwa menshi babombwe nangwalerire ekyokulira mulonga irembo abombwe katakyekirera okuminya letakyali irembo mirima namango yo excellence tabalaseibisi balakula namango imbiri bisi bakulakase ekitekyali ipiire ero kabiri abamendo bakiralanda ati nga wamwemba yeruyire ensabire ekivunga wira bajakisa nikimuka kansala mulifupa emulandu windirangu bapanga ekyongo natwishiba excellence abalenyikiina bali abantu abalimu opposition excellence balenyikiina pakisi bageseyabalenasana bakalanda bamisire mubisebo tuleka bakalanda pamakulu amakulu tuleka bakalanda pamayaboti tuleka bakalanda patali tuleka fisi bakalanda covid nombekirere kulakalana tekubembagira umurumendo wa excellence kato kikabatukana waikukumunakire ekingalungu awanyanta weyalebera pamu eyalebera pamu irisire ate bakabana bitire
And speaking to journalists at Lusaka's city airport before departure for a 2 days working visit on the Copperbelt, President Edgar Lungu has refuted allegations by the three church mother bodies that he is ignoring their request to meet over the national dialogue process. The three church mother bodies, namely the Council of Churches in Zambia (CCZ), the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia (EFZ), and the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops (ZCCB), have for a long time indicated that despite making several requests to State House to meet the head of state over the matter, their intentions have yielded no response. They have charged that this is hampering the expected progress on the matter. But President Lungu has wondered what kind of opening up the three church mother bodies want. The head of state has also expressed concern as to why some stakeholders feel sidelined from the dialogue process when it is open to everyone.
I haven't opened up. I've got no comment. If you think I haven't opened up, I don't know what they want me to say. I've said I'm ready even today. That's the church saying I've not opened up. I don't know. What kind of opening up do you want? Thank you. I haven't opened up.
Meanwhile, United Party for National Development UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema is confident that the church is the only organization capable of spearheading the political dialogue process well. Mr. Hichilema feels that the church has the requisite skills to undertake a complicated process like the dialogue. He has told journalists in Lusaka that the church also has the experience to carry out this duty, thus his emphasis. Mr. Hichilema has maintained that the party is ready for dialogue.
Then we respect the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia. We respect the God of Christ. After all, we are Christians. We profess to be Christian, and the God of Christ is one. The church has the requisite skills to undertake a complicated process like the dialogue. The church has experience. The church, as you know, did it before. 1991, 2001, and obviously now they can do it. We are ready for the dialogue. We were ready yesterday, we're ready today, we're ready tomorrow. Let's get on with it. Thank you very much.
Residents of Vona and Ndeke area in Chongo district have continued to reject Define Block Making Factory from proceeding with its operations. The over 100 residents who held a meeting with the prospective investors and witnessed by the Zambia Environment Management Authority officials have cited environment reasons. In making their submissions, the residents argued that they could not allow the company to operate in an area that is designated for residential.
I'm just trying to appeal to you. I'm trying to appeal. Apart from that, there are quite a number of benefits that we can benefit in the relationship together as a community. Of course, one of the most direct ones, even if quite a number of people have already built already, but there are some that haven't built yet.
My area of interest is public health, and I don't think I can bargain public health for anything. So I cannot bargain the health of the community, for convenience of the location of the factory. I cannot bargain on the health of the community for the noise pollution. I cannot bargain with the health of the community for the impact that it's going to have on the aquifer there. In fact, just last week, we went to take a look at the aquifer. And what we found is that this is the most fragile aquifer that we have.
Sorry, pardon me, Mr. Senkamba, pardon me. I just want to remark,
Agriculture Minister Michael Katambo has assured farmers that they will be paid the 241 million kwacha owed to them by the Food Reserve Agency FRA. Mr. Katambo has told journalists in Lusaka that the ministry is actively pursuing payment from the Treasury. He says government has so far released 20 million kwacha and will be releasing another 15 million kwacha every week to pay farmers till the debt is settled. Mr. Katambo has also assured the farmers that his ministry has engaged the Ministry of Finance through the Treasury to ensure that the funds are made available in order for payment to be made to the farmers. Meanwhile, Mr. Katambo says the e-voucher will not be abolished because it is the best tool of empowering farmers with inputs. Mr. Katambo says in districts where the e-voucher faced challenges due to non-existence of financial institutions and network, the government is issuing a document called an authority to collect and deposit to ease the process of implementing the program.
Agriculture all these days because we've had hiccups in payment to our farmers. We owe our farmers about 241 million. 20 million has been released so far, but to engaging Ministry of Finance through the Treasury, they've promised that each and every week they will be releasing about 50 million for us to pay our farmers. This also has put our farmers on a slow, because after they are paid from FRA after delivery of their maize in our designated satellite depots, they are supposed to pay their contribution fee towards FISIP e-voucher 400 kwacha, where government is also adding up 1,700 kwacha subsidy to the implementation of the e-voucher FISIP. So we are very positive, we are very sure the President is monitoring this activity in the Ministry of Agriculture so that our farmers are paid within the shortest period of time.
Caritas Zambia Economic and Social Accountability Program Specialist Edmond Kangamungazi has asked government to devise mechanisms on how it can deal with illicit financial flows in the country. Mr. Kangamungazi has told QTV News that due to financial illicit flows, the country is losing huge sums of money which would be channeled to other needy sectors. He says there is need for government to put in place a legal frame that can be used to combat the scourge. Mr. Kangamungazi is concerned that 80% of financial illicit flows occur in the mining industry, thus the need for government to put in place serious measures to address the vice. He has emphasized that the illicit financial flows is impacting negatively on the development of the country.
What we're doing is we're trying to ask the government in terms of trying to devise mechanism of how they can actually combat the illicit financial flows through issues of providing the legal framework of how we can actually deal with that. We recognize also that Zambia doesn't have really a definition of these financial flows, so we need to find a way of how we can actually define the problem, and also trying to make up laws that can actually deal with these financial flows. As it is now, I think we have been having a lot of problems. If you look at the experience in the mining sector, which actually constitutes almost like 80% of these financial flows that we are seeing in Zambia. So the government really needs to take this very seriously in terms of how we can actually combat this. Otherwise, we are losing a lot of money that we could actually use in terms of, we can use that money in terms of social investments, economic investment, to actually deal with this particular problem. What we're doing is
The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection has disclosed that depending on the export of copper minerals only has contributed to the poor performance of the kwacha. Center policy analyst Innocent Ndashe says the continuous weakening of the kwacha against the major convertibles will see the prices of basic commodities increasing their prices. He notes that what is more worrying is that even local traders who do not import their produce will start hiking the prices of their goods. Mr. Ndashe says going forward there is need to build confidence in the national economy by undertaking short medium-term measures which will in turn help the economy to recover. He says the central bank should consider offloading more foreign currency on the market in order to help the local regain its value.
One of the things that we'd want to do as a country is to build confidence in the economy, and that calls for a short and medium-term measure, such as the Bank of Zambia offloading the foreign exchange, whatever we have on the market, to arrest the accelerating cost of the kwacha. Then secondly, we need to, I think, widen the sources of foreign exchange. We need to explore as many opportunities as they exist in the world, where we can export most of our raw materials beyond copper. And that brings us to the third point, where I think much diversification hasn't been properly understood. When I think we've talked about diversifying our economy, I think what we've meant is we need to go beyond copper exports. So meaning we have gold in our country, we have manganese. Can we exploit those and find market? Overriding that is the whole question of adding value to that. Then we'll be increasing the quantities of exports, in the process attracting so much foreign exchange reserves. Then also to ensure that we don't fall in the situation that we have. Fourthly, we need to ensure that at the point that our exports, we are getting so much from our exports, we need to build adequate foreign reserves such that you can offload when the kwacha begins to weaken, and that will help us to build confidence in the economy.
The opposition United Party for National Development has accused government of not paying attention to advice from stakeholders. Party Secretary General Stephen Katuka says UPND has advised government on a number of issues, but it is not taking any action, an indication, he said, President Lungu is not listening to advice raised by various people in the country. He says even if Zambians were to cry blood, the PF have, however, shown that they cannot heed to any counsel. And Mr. Katuka says it is unfortunate for President Lungu to claim that he did not know that Zambia Air Force was going to purchase a jet for him. Mr. Katuka says the move to purchase the presidential jet simply shows that the Patriotic Front government is fond of misappropriating public funds, which is meant to develop the country. Mr. Katuka, however, feels that it is not too late for President Lungu to cancel the deal, more especially that he claims to be ignorant over the purchasing of the jet.
It is full of abuses, misapplication, misappropriation, whatever word you want to use. And it is not a listening government. The bottom line is not a listening government. Whether people complain, whether people cry, and the tears come in form of blood, they will not listen. Whatever they want to do, whether for or against the will of the people, they will go ahead. And that is why they are doing that. For me, it is very unreasonable for somebody to say that buying over a plane is a security issue. What security issue is there? What is security about buying over a plane? Even the Zambia Air Force, as they buy planes, why is the president called commander-in-chief? He's in charge of the Air Force, in charge of the Army, in charge of the National Service, in charge of even the police. So whatever they are doing, he's informed. He knew that they were buying a plane for him, and he must have given a go-ahead. So he can't say he did not know it was ZAF who were buying. The statement from Stade Mwale completely washed away everything. It shows clearly that the president knew about the planes being bought. And if he does not agree with them, why doesn't he cancel the deal now? It's not too late to cancel that deal. If he doesn't support it, he can cancel it.
The Patriotic Front PF says it will win the forthcoming Mangango parliamentary by-election in Western Province because the opposition does not have any message for the electorate. The Mangango parliamentary seat fell vacant after the death of UPND Member of Parliament Nalua Mwene, who died in a road traffic accident. PF Media Director Sunday Chanda says the party's candidate, Godwin Putu, will outshine all other candidates on November 20th, 2018, the polling day. Mr. Chanda says the popularity of the PF candidate can be measured by the political panic he has evoked among other competing candidates in Mangango. He has told journalists in Lusaka that the ruling party has done all the groundwork and is confident that the party is winning the seat. And Mr. Chanda has stated that the Patriotic Front is advocating for peace before, during and after the by-elections.
Responsible political party who wishes to commit to peace building and non-violence. On the part of the Patriotic Front, we've said that we're going into these campaigns with issues and preaching development. We are not interested, and we're not taking any violence whatsoever, and none of our members is going to be involved in any of those violent incidences. As a matter of fact, those of our members who are found engaging themselves in violence will be on their own, and the long arm of the law will reach them. But we were shocked that the UPND is not interested in peace for Mangango. And this must send a very strong message to our people that the UPND, as always, would never win an election or would never want to go in a campaign void of violence. Responsible.
Kembe Member of Parliament Princess Kasune has urged farmers in the area to diversify agricultural ventures. Ms. Kasune has told Q News that it is advisable for the farming community in the area to diversify instead of depending on maize cultivation only. She adds that this is not just a challenge for Kembe but the country at large, thus the urgent need for farmers to ensure that there is diversity in crop growing. And Ms. Kasune has noted the need for crop diversification so that there is a variety with the type of food that people eat. She notes that Zambia is recording high levels of stunting due to to the lack of crop diversification.
To ensure that there is diversification in our crops. I was just in the constituency about a week ago, and again it was the same usual where our farmers are still just having the usual maize seed. And I think since I became a champion on food and nutrition, which we know that Zambia is recording high numbers or high levels of stunting, I think it's important that we look at what we are growing, because it is from there that we've been looking at what we'll be eating. And we know that we haven't been eating well as Zambians. And so I'm reminded personally, I'm reminded for the people of Kenya, but I think this is a Zambian issue because the stunting levels are alarming.
Lusaka Water and Storage Company will next year in March commission a reserve tank in Charleston area in order to improve the water supply. Lusaka Water and Storage Company Public Relations Manager Patson Piri has told Q News that there has been a challenge with water in Charleston where pressure is low and some areas do not have water supply. He adds that the construction of the reserve tank alongside the existing one is meant to improve the current status of water supply to a well-improved supply in the area. Mr. Piri says the tank, which was supposed to be delivered to the people this year, will be completed in March next year to procurement process. He has further asked for more patience from the residents of Charleston, PHI and the surrounding areas as they await for the new tank.
Now we have had a challenge in Charleston in terms of supply of water. The pressure is very low, and sometimes there are a few properties that don't receive water in good volumes and things like that. And so we are constructing a tank, a reserve tank, which should be able to improve the status from the current position to a well-improved supply regime. And so we are building a tank behind the existing tank where we are trying to have storage so that when we store water, it can go to the houses with good or maximum pressure. However, some components of the spare parts or some components of that tank will only arrive in February. And so we have revised the date. We are supposed to have delivered that tank by this month or by last month. We will, however, be delivering this tank by March next year because of those key components in the construction of the reserve tank at Charleston. So we will not be able to commission that tank this year, but that activity has been shifted to February next year. Now,
Roundtable Zambia have disclosed that they are earmarked to hand over 1x4 classroom block at Washa Community School in Masaiti District, Chief Chiwala's area on the Copperbelt. Roundtable Nation Public Relations Officer Shimba Kaila says the 1x4 classroom block has gobbled about 400,000 kwacha. He also revealed that the organization is also expected to hand over another 1x4 classroom and ablution block in Solwezi District at Kazila Matambo School in Northwestern Province, whose construction has cost 500,000 kwacha. He has told QTV News that the organization has recognized the important role the education sector plays in poverty alleviation and has therefore decided to focus on building some classroom blocks in their catchment areas.
We'll be handing over a 1x4 classroom block at what is known as Washa Community School in Masaiti District in Chief Chiwala's area. So this handover will be done to Ministry of Education on 17th November 2018, which will be a Saturday. So this 1x4 classroom block costed about 400,000 kwacha, and we did it with our cooperating partners from abroad, together with the fundraising ventures which we do as Roundtable. Early next year, we plan on handing over another 1x4 classroom block in Solwezi at Kazila Matambo School. There we are doing the 1x4 classroom block plus the ablution block as well. The amount to be spent is about 500,000 kwacha. There's a cooperating partner in Solwezi, a company which has also been helping us to build that school. So as Roundtable, we have seen the need for education in Zambia. This is why our main focus is on building schools and classroom blocks at the moment. So we encourage each and every table within Zambia to focus on education, because we see that with education, poverty can be alleviated in this country.
Care International Zambia Country Director Geraldine Zwak says the organization is working with government to help end malnutrition in the country. Ms. Zwak says the increase of malnutrition levels in the country is due to lack of sensitization. She has stressed that this is the reason why her organization is working with the Ministries of Education, Agriculture, Community Development, among others, to sensitize the public. Ms. Zwak is hopeful that through their approach, it will be able to make a difference in communities towards eliminating malnutrition.
There are many reasons why malnutrition exists in these communities. Largely it's awareness and education, but we address this through working with the Ministry of Education, Agriculture, Community Development, local housing, and water and environment. Because all these agencies have activities which touch on improving nutrition. For example, education is key, and so we work with the Ministry of Education, work through the schools and the curriculum. We work with water and sanitation, because diarrheal diseases increase the chance of malnutrition. And so on and so forth. And we have wonderful relations with the government in building the capacity of the government. So not only do we work in Muchinga, but we're also in Katete, Choma and Kalomo, delivering a very similar model.
To end the news, we take a look at stories making headlines. 2 Tanzanian fuel tankers believed to be carrying 35,000 liters of fuel have been burnt to ashes in Mpika district. Residents of Vona and Deke area in Inchongo district have continued to reject the fine block making factory from proceeding with its operations. And President Edgar Lungu has commissioned the Michael Chilufya Sata toll plaza in Ndola at a huge cost of 4.3 million United States dollars. On that note, we come to the end of the news. From me, Diana Sumbwe. Thank you for watching.